months ago, the world was bracing for a wider war. The US and Iran had been on a collision course for years, and when it finally broke out, everyone assumed it would drag on indefinitely. But this week, something changed. A ceasefire has held, and the two sides are now close to a formal settlement. What's interesting isn't just that the fighting stopped, it's how it stopped. This wasn't reserved to the usual European mediators or Gulf monarchies. People expect to see in this kind of situation. The channel that actually worked ran through Islamabad. Pakistan doesn't have oil wells like the Gulf states. It doesn't have the diplomatic infrastructure of the EU, but it shares a long border with Iran, deep historical ties with Tehran, and a working relationship with Washington that survived decades of ups and downs. When the moment came for someone to carry messages, both sides would actually trust Islamabad was the one already in that position. It's a quite kind of leverage. Pakistan isn't the country with the loudest voice in this story. It's the one that happened to already have the access nobody else had. And now, the formal signing ceremony for the agreements is set to take place in Geneva, hosted with Pakistan's diplomatic fingerprints all over the process that got both sides there. So the question is, why does any of this matter to us sitting here in Kathmandu? More than people realize, think about how many families depend on someone working in the Gulf. Qatar, UAE, Saudi Arabia, every time tensions spike in the wider region, the first thing that gets disrupted is exactly that corridor. Remittance, flight routes, oil prices, that determines how much a liter of petrol costs here in Nepal. That's the part that doesn't make headlines. A war thousands of kilometers away still shows up in a Nepali household monthly budget because so much of our labor migration and our energy imports run straight through that part of the world. Exactly. If this settlement holds, if the region genuinely stabilizes, it's not abstract good news. It's safer routes for the hundreds and thousands of Nepalese working across the Gulf. Steadier remittance flows and less volatility in fuel prices that hit every household here. And there's a quieter lesson in this too. A country without the deepest pocket in the room still found a way to matter, simply by being useful at the right moment and in the right place. For a country like ours, navigating between much larger neighbors, that's not a simple thing to notice. So whether or not the peace lasts, one thing is already clear, the map of who matters in this region just shifted a little, and Nepal, being far away from the front line, still has a stake in how it plays out. Well, we will be watching Geneva closely. For Hood Nepal, that's our take. See you next time. Bye bye.